All right, and it looks like we're live. Hi, everybody. This is Roberto Blake of robertoblake.com, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar will be about video marketing, and I will give you some tips, advice, some strategies, and some help with achieving your video marketing goals, and also explaining the power of video marketing and how it can help you with both your career and with your business. So whether you're developing a personal brand or whether you're already running a small business or working within an organization, this information is going to be very useful to you. I have some resources that will be in the description below if you're watching the replay as well as the live. At the end of this webinar, I highly encourage you to subscribe to my community newsletter email list, because I will actually be providing a PDF resource that will have some additional information, some resource links, some free downloads for you. So make sure that you're subscribed to get that. Today, we're going to be covering a lot of things. So I'm going to break down what the overall track for the webinar is. I'm going to be going for an hour or as long as we have to cover all of the material. Afterward, there will be a short Q&A session for those of you watching the live stream. If you're watching the replay, feel free to reach out in the comments section or reach out via Twitter at Roberto Blake, and I'll try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the live webinar. What we're going to be covering today is going to be what is video marketing all about, why you should be using video marketing, how you can use video marketing to help your business, how you can use it to help you throughout your career, what equipment you actually need for video marketing, what platforms or websites you should be using for video marketing, aligning video marketing to your business and career goals, what types of videos you can make, how to create your videos or have a professional do it. So we'll be covering whether you want to do it yourself or hire someone else. We'll be covering live streaming video like this versus pre-recorded edited video. We'll be talking about measuring the ROI and the value of video marketing, making your first 10 videos, and video marketing strategies for exposure. So let's go ahead and jump into what video marketing is. Video marketing, as you probably guessed, is using your video content in order to promote yourself, your business, your products, your services, whatever it is that you're trying to get out there in terms of either spreading a message or introducing people to the concepts or the value that you might be creating, in the hopes of aligning that usually with either your personal, professional, or business goals. So that is what video marketing is about. YouTube is one video marketing platform, but there are several other video marketing platforms. There's also the difference between pre-recorded video, which we'll be discussing, as well as live streaming videos. Live streaming videos have their own unique value versus pre-recorded. There are benefits and advantages and strategies to doing both, so it's good to leverage both of them in your video marketing mix. Ultimately, video marketing and the value of it comes down to a couple of things. The fact that you can see a real human being and that you can experience their personality and their knowledge, and that video marketing is also scalable. It has the ability to reach a large amount of people instead of the one to few or one to many relationship of doing something like a training event or workshop in person. Video marketing can be reused, it can be repurposed, it can be distributed to an unlimited amount of people and have a tremendous amount of reach. So those are some of the benefits of video marketing and what it is all about and why I believe you should take advantage of it. And this webinar is going to help introduce you into the concepts and things you need to know if you're unfamiliar with video marketing and how to actually execute on it. While it might still have value for your business, it might be something that you feel right now is a little difficult or challenging or hard to understand. And I'm here to help make that transition a bit easier. So why should you be using video marketing? There are a lot of reasons you can use video marketing. It could be that you want to get exposure for your brand. You might be someone who's working at a company and you might be in their marketing department. You might need to go ahead and try and see what you can do about reaching your customers and either getting them to engage deeper, or you might want to create value for them. There are other things other than selling that goes with video marketing. One of the things I constantly tell individuals and companies is to look at the pain points and the frequently asked questions that your audience has, whether that's your customers, your clients, or even people within your industry. Answer the 10 to 20 most common pain points of these people and establishes some of your authority, and there'll be a reason for people to watch your content and then also see what else you have to author. So by establishing your authority, by creating value up front, By answering frequently asked questions, you get a lot of different things. One, you can build that authority that we talked about, and that's leverage. But on another point, you can build a deep connection with your audience because they have a good experience of the value you've created. Home Depot is a brand that's taking this to a whole different level with everything they've offered in terms of resources, so that when people want to know how to do something themselves, how to do it yourself, how to do home repair, they have that answer from Home Depot's YouTube channel. And then that encourages them and creates a good feeling with the brand. And they decide that they want to buy the products that they saw being used in that video to solve their particular problem. So that is a very real world example of the power of video marketing, even without you directly selling. Video marketing can be great for selling a product or making people aware of your service or your brand, but it's also a great way to connect with people on a deeper level and offer them value up front so that they trust you and you have credibility and have a relationship with them. So that is why you should be video marketing. If you're anyone who needs to build a relationship with your customers, wants to have their trust, wants to make less friction be apparent in the buying process, then I would highly recommend you take advantage of video marketing and the fact that you can create that relationship, be genuine, be purposeful in your execution, and align it to your business goals. So that leads us directly into the next part of this webinar. Can video marketing help your business? It absolutely can. And you don't have to be a big business for this to have value for you. You don't have to be a big business like Home Depot in order for this to work. You can be a small business. I myself am a solopreneur. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, even though I produce YouTube video content, about maybe 30 to 40 videos per month. That is a small part of my business model and is the larger part of my overall marketing effort. But my primary business is within creative services. And I've used the power of video marketing to get a ton of referrals directly through social media as a result. And I really feel that YouTube has been the platform that has been the most successful in terms of that direct marketing. I know that one video, just one video that I did about the pricing of logo design, converted in over $5,000 of logo design business for me, which is not an insignificant number. And it was actually just a few clients, maybe 4 to 6 clients, that translated to that $5,000 worth of business. So it got me higher end clients for what those designs and logos were. And it was just one video. I have over 500 videos in YouTube covering a range of topics, and I use that as not only a way to create upfront value and create a relationship with my audience, but also to attract potential people who are interested in hiring my services. I've had many customers that use some of my tutorial videos in order to do things themselves and to grow their own business and be able to market themselves effectively. And then when they were making enough money to afford it, they decided to contract me so they could spend more time running their business and outsource their creative to me. So regardless of whether you're a small business and you're running something either in a small shop or even working from your home office, there's tremendous value for you in video marketing if you leverage it effectively by building a connection with your potential customers, offering them upfront value, answering their pain points, and being able to provide meaningful content for them. Now, if you want to use video marketing to help you in your professional career, maybe you're a freelancer, or maybe you're an in-house person working for a business or a company, or maybe you're looking for a job, you can still use video marketing to your advantage. Video marketing takes some of the risk out of the hiring practice because the reality is we live in a world where Google is a real thing. We live in a world where LinkedIn is a real thing. And if you have video content in these platforms and you're discoverable, when someone is searching for you and they want to get to know who they're going to hire and who they're going to bring into an interview, you can leverage the fact that you have videos to demonstrate your personality, your skills, your experience, your knowledge, and your execution at scale to those people. It could also attract opportunities that you didn't know were available. Places you've never applied to might be willing to call you or reach out to you for an opportunity to work with you because of your video marketing. Video marketing has brought me tremendous opportunities. It's brought me speaking engagement opportunities. It's brought me the opportunities to do paid webinars partnered with other companies. It's brought me sponsorship for this YouTube channel. It's brought me paid writing deals with various publications that I work with. It has brought me so many tremendous personal relationships as well as a strong professional network. It has allowed me to have access to individuals that I might not have otherwise. It has allowed me to go to conferences. It's allowed me so many opportunities in both my professional career and in my personal life that I don't think I would have gotten in any other way, because I was able to build that relationship, show my personality, be approachable, and let people know who they were dealing with. And that's something that I think a lot of people underestimate. Now, part of that means having to be comfortable on camera, and that can be problematic initially for a lot of people. And I completely understand that. 2 years ago, when I started doing the bulk of content for this channel, my face was not primarily what was on camera. I was actually showcasing my skills as a graphic designer by doing Photoshop tutorials and walkthroughs, showing different techniques and skills and trying to help other people on their entry into the graphic design space and into photo editing and photo manipulation in a way that I felt I wish that had been done for me, because I grew up and came into my career at a point where YouTube was not very prominent and this type of information was not available for free. So by creating that upfront value, I was able to build an audience. I was able to build traction. I was able to ease into being comfortable talking more on camera and being in front of the camera by simply demonstrating my skills. So if you have a skill set that you can demonstrate that doesn't necessarily require you to talk in front of a camera, you could leverage video marketing in that way as well. You could show off your products if you happen to be making products as an individual. So there are a lot of opportunities, both from a personal standpoint, if you're a freelancer, a creator of any kind, but also if you are working in-house and you wanted opportunities potentially to build authority within your industry. By becoming an authority, by leveraging video content and talking about your industry, not necessarily sharing the secrets of the company you work for. I would not advise that in any way, shape, or form, but by talking about what you know and what you care about the most, and establishing a presence online as being someone who provides that information and provides that value for people who are interested in, you will have leverage, because it means that if there is another opportunity out there, people will be aware of who you are, and it will mean that you have more leverage in negotiating a better salary. You could negotiate better deals in terms of other job opportunities. And again, you won't be a stranger making cold calls or cold emails. You'll be someone who is an authority and a presence within the industry and part of the conversation. So that is how video marketing can help you in your career. Now let's talk about some of the equipment you need for engaging in video marketing. A lot of people's resistance to video marketing is the cost. They feel that there is a barrier to entry. This live webinar did not cost a lot to put on. I'm not using a very fancy professional camera, but you're still getting this in HD quality while it's live. And I'm using a very inexpensive lighting kit that is about $120, but there are lighting kits that you could get for $30 or $60 that would get the job done. This camera that I'm using right now is a $70 webcam from Logitech, and the microphone that I'm using right now that you can't see is an Audio-Technica ATR 2100 microphone that a lot of people use for podcasting, and it's only $40 right now. So for less than $200, less than $150, you could get into video marketing very easily in terms of these particular resources. But I do have a resource list of everything that I use and everything I have used, and that is over at my blog, and I've had a link to that in the description of this video. But if you've signed up for the newsletter, and you can do that by going to robertoblake.com/newsletter, you can sign up for my Create Awesome Community newsletter. And Friday, I will have a PDF going out to everybody with more resources, more breakdowns on different things you can do for video marketing. There'll be free links as far as some software, some downloads, some templates, things like that. But there will also be links to where you can go on Amazon and you can find resources for any budget that you're looking at and figure out how to do video marketing and make it work for you. There are some basic things you obviously need. You need some type of camera. There are solutions for under $100. You need some type of microphone. There are solutions from $6 to as much as $200 or more that you can get on the audio side, and all of them work reasonably well, and I've used a lot of these. I was using $6 lapel microphones in my YouTube videos for a long time, and the audio quality was still tremendous. It's just a matter of knowing what to look for, and I've already done that homework for you. So ultimately, it comes down to a good camera. You want something with at least HD quality. You want good audio, Good audio is going to be ultimately more important than high-end video quality. There's no need to worry about getting into 4K video just yet because most people can't consume it. The iPhone 6s just came out. I've actually ordered one. It's a great camera for making your YouTube videos, and you can make them in as high as quality as you want. The audio will also be good in camera, but I do still recommend using a lapel microphone or some other audio solution in combination with that in order to do your videos. So I will talk at some point about using just a smartphone in order to do video marketing content. We'll cover that briefly here, but I want to make you aware that ultimately you have to figure out solutions that make sense for you. And the guide that I'm putting together as a PDF that you can get through the email list is going to help you out with that and break down some things in just about every budget and price range you can think of, and also have the breakdowns for accessories and things that you can use to turn your phone into your video marketing and video production studio. So that's important. There's also software. There's free software available. You could get started with your video marketing and keep things very simple using tools like Windows Movie Maker. There's also some other tools and other things out there. There's a free app called VideoPad. There is iMovie, which in some cases is no longer free, but it's only $15. There are things like Filmora, Wondershare that are $40, or you can get something a little more robust like Adobe Premiere Elements, which is about $70. If you decide to bundle that with Photoshop Elements to be able to make graphics to promote yourself, then that bundle's about $125. Again, I will have links to all of my resources and also some recommended resources, but just understand that this doesn't have to be super expensive or super complicated. There are some free tools and resources you can use, and those could be fine for getting started, but ultimately you want to get into things that are going to allow you to look professional. I would recommend at a minimum using a video editor like Corel Video Editor or Adobe Premiere Elements. Those are the two that I highly recommend the most until you're ready for more professional software like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro through the Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, or even something like Avid, which is a little more advanced but is used by film studios and news companies. And depending on what your technical ability is, you might have a preference. I've put together a free guide for getting started in Adobe Premiere Pro to help you with video editing and make it simple. Over 20, 30,000 people have used that guide successfully to help them. So we've covered some of the equipment that you need for video marketing, but let's talk about video marketing platforms. There are a lot of different platforms and websites cropping up, and it could make it a bit confusing to know what video marketing platform is best suited to your needs. If you want to do a lot of pre-recorded video, which I think, and in the way that you want, I would recommend using YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It also is very suited to marketing. So I would highly encourage you that if you really want to take video marketing seriously, that on some level you consider using YouTube. Now, there are other platforms as well that you should be paying attention to, but I still think you should start with YouTube. There is Blab, which is a new live streaming platform, and it is very intuitive and easy to use. It also has the ability, once you do a Blab session, to natively upload to YouTube with the push of a button. Some of the benefits of Blab are the fact that you can get a round table of up to 4 people at a time, and you can rotate out seats. So there are things that work very well for Blab. It's very good for roundtable and panel discussions if you're trying to establish your authority as an influencer or an expert within an industry or a topic. It's also good for interviews and for conferences that you kind of want to display, and even for some webinars or podcasting. But it is not the best overall video marketing platform to get started with if you want to promote your brand or you want to advocate on behalf of your business. I would still recommend that you use YouTube and that you focus on the type of content that is going to be searched in YouTube, and that you take advantage of the ability to edit your videos, present it the way you want, not have to be live and worry about making mistakes, and that you go that route with pre-recorded video. There are other platforms such as Facebook Video, but Facebook Video is not searched right now. Right now, Facebook Video is viewed very passively, and there's not a lot of analytics and data behind it for you to really make actionable marketing decisions. So I would say that Facebook is a good platform for you to repurpose the same content that you're using in YouTube. Some people have mixed feelings about this, but I think that if your goal is to deliver value and to reach as many people as possible, then putting your content in both platforms is an ideal solution for you, and it has more upside than downside. So I would say that it's definitely worth it from an ROI standpoint, as long as your goal is to communicate and deliver value, spread your message, spread your brand, and to reach an audience. So that is what I would say about YouTube and Facebook as platforms. Again, I did mention Blab in terms of some live streaming value, but there are other live streaming platforms as well, such as Periscope and Meerkat. Periscope and Meerkat are mobile device platforms rather than platforms that are geared more toward a computer or a laptop, such as YouTube. And the value of that is that it is push button live streaming. It does give you the ability to create that video content. Now, the playbacks on those are only available for a limited time unless you link your accounts to an external service called catch.me. I will talk about this more in an upcoming webinar on live streaming. I don't know when I will announce that webinar, but if you subscribe to my community newsletter and email list, you will know when I'm doing those live streams. You will also be able to see the playback of those live streams when they're available here on the YouTube channel if you're subscribed to that as well. So that's how you will get those updates of when I'm doing a webinar that's all about the power of live streaming and strategies and tactics for using that. What I will say briefly about both of those platforms is they have their own value, and I would recommend using them maybe twice a week, more if you want to get familiar with them, but that you only have to do those live streams for 5 to 15 minutes and create some kind of value there. And that they're a great way to get question and answer sessions going with your audience, or ask me anything sessions. So I would say that that has value from that standpoint, and you can use that for your marketing funnel and to lead people into your email list or to any other call to action that you want. If you're an author, you're promoting a book, you have a new product out as far as an information product, then this type of live streaming will go very well for you. YouTube, as you know, does have a live streaming component for Hangouts on Air, which is what I'm using now for these live webinars that I do once a month. That is how I leverage those as a video marketing platform to reach my audience and create value, but also create long form content that can be shared, reused, create value, and possibly lead to new relationships, new networking opportunities, and to new clients. So I would highly encourage you that if you are an expert in anything, to consider doing live webinars in some format, maybe once a month, possibly twice a month if you feel you have the capacity to do that. So we've talked about video marketing platforms, and we did focus on YouTube and Facebook, as well as some live streaming platforms. Vimeo is another platform, but it's utilized less unless you want people to have the ability to directly download your content for one reason or another. I don't necessarily encourage that particular video platform when compared to YouTube. If you simply want to repurpose your videos for the purposes of discovery and because you are trying to reach and promote to as many people as possible, or if you're a company, there may be some value in you uploading the same content that you're sharing in YouTube to sites like Dailymotion and Vimeo. Personally, I don't do as much of that, but I will be doing it for product review style videos because there is an affiliate marketing angle to that, as well as some authority in the tech space to be leveraged. So from that standpoint, I would encourage that. You just have to be aligning this to your business goals, which is our next overall topic: how to align video marketing to your business and career goals. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but I want to get into some specific tactics and strategies for aligning to your business goals. You have to decide what you want your business goals to be whenever you're creating a piece of video content, but also in your overall video marketing strategy. My goal, ultimately, when I came to YouTube, was to influence the creative services culture a little bit. Initially, that started very benign. That started with wanting to help other people through offering tutorials and a little bit of advice. As my channel grew and a demand for the information that I was putting out grew, I pivoted and expanded the vision of my channel to helping more than just graphic designers and digital artists. I wanted to help other creative professionals that were doing very similar things to me, and I was doing a lot of things. So I used content diversity to reach those people and to grow an audience and a community and to create value for them. Ultimately, that inadvertently led to influencing a lot more than I originally anticipated. It also did create a marketing funnel that I hadn't originally intended. But the moment I did realize that a few months in, I started to take advantage of it in terms of strategically planning some of my content. and the return on investment of that was tremendous, not only from a YouTube monetization standpoint, but primarily from a referral business standpoint. So you have to decide what your video marketing strategy is. Do you want to create influence and build yourself as an authority? Do you want to convert new clients and customers? Do you want to grow your email list? Do you want to grow your professional network? Or do you want to do all of the above? Do you want to build not only a marketing funnel with your video content, but also build a monetizable business around the information that you're putting out there? These are things that you have to consider, and these are what will represent your business and career goals when you're producing video content. So you should keep this in mind from the very beginning, and then try to strategically align your content, your production values, your schedule, and your overall strategy for how you gain exposure specifically to these outcomes. There are videos that I do specifically with the intent of leveraging influence and starting a conversation. There are videos where I specifically talk about the industry itself, or career advice, or about education within creative services, specifically graphic design or photography or video production, in order to have an impact on that conversation, especially for people that are either early in their career or are students or are aspiring to be career professionals. There are other pieces of content that I strategically use to target people who are already active in the industry and either start a conversation with them, challenge an existing idea within the culture of creative, or to promote what my point of view might be. So these are things that I've aligned very specifically to goals that I might have. There are other videos that I leverage in order to build relationships with potential future connections, either from a networking standpoint or from a sponsorship standpoint. So those videos are very different from videos where I'm trying to gain influence. There are another set of videos that specifically are speaking not to other creatives, but to potential clients and solving their pain points and their problems. These might be videos like how to hire a freelancer, or how to hire a photographer, or how to hire a graphic designer. These videos are more geared toward them. The small business and social media videos that I do on Saturdays as content are more geared toward people who might potentially in the future be clients of mine, but also are aligned to the audience of people who are creatives who need to be thinking about their business and need to be marketing themselves. And even other creatives ultimately do become some of my client base and pipeline. As I release intellectual property based products, those same creatives would become customers from a product standpoint because I've already built that relationship and they already know that the free value I've created up front was tremendous. So how much more valuable will the paid products that I'm releasing be in the future? So there is that relationship and there is a strategy aligned to that. That doesn't take away from the upfront value of the content that I'm putting out there. It only enhances it. The fact that I gave it the thought and the care and the consideration makes a difference, and people do appreciate it. So make sure when you are doing your content that you are being genuine, but that you also still understand what the value is and you're spending your time appropriately, and that you're taking the time instead of putting out content for the sake of putting out content. That is one of the worst things that you can do, and one of the biggest mistakes and pitfalls in video marketing that companies and individuals make. They produce content simply to have content out there, or because they think it will have SEO value to have a certain amount of videos and backlinks and content out there, when the real value is in the human to human relationship. And that is the true power of video marketing, is the fact that it is a face and a voice put out there and a personality and intentions behind that. And people are smart. They can see through the intentions of a person who is being honest and genuine and knows their material and knows their content and knows what they're talking about and genuinely believes in what they're saying. It will translate because it will be in your expressions, in your tone, in your pacing, versus someone who is phoning it in and just wants to make a sale or just wants to put out a piece of content so that they can index in YouTube and Google and use it as social media fodder. So make sure that you aren't putting out throwaway content, and that you take every piece of content that you put out there very seriously, and that you think about the value for your audience, but also the value for you as a professional or a business or a brand. So we've talked about aligning your goals to your video marketing strategy, whether that be as a business or whether it be for your career. But I will go slightly deeper for a moment on the career side. Understanding that we live in an era of LinkedIn and in Google searches, you need to focus on where you want these videos to appear, and you shouldn't just let them live in YouTube. You should take advantage, if you're a career professional, of putting LinkedIn videos through YouTube into your LinkedIn profile and take advantage of that. Don't have a bland profile that's just your resume. You could just mail that in as a Word document or a PDF. Take advantage of the interactivity of LinkedIn and the fact that you can put playable videos within your LinkedIn profile and show a bit of your personality, demonstrate your skills, your knowledge, or your expertise. Just make sure that it's very relevant to what you want someone to see from a hiring position, and that shows you in a favorable light while still being genuine and honest so that they know the real person they're getting, and you're more likely to have leverage and also have a smoother interview as a result. You also will get opportunities that you may not have even asked for. So I would say take advantage of that from a career standpoint. So the next topic that we're going to cover is what type of videos for you to make. Now, this might seem more straightforward than it is, but there are different types of videos. This type of video is a live stream, but that's not really a type of video. This is what's referred to as an information video or a talking head video, where you have a person talking directly to the audience through the camera. And that is a particularly popular type of video. It's sometimes referred to as a vlog, whether you're just talking about life or not, which is really what a vlog is a video journal, a video log, if you will. But that style of video, even if you're not talking about your personal life, but are talking professionally, is still sometimes referred to as vlogging as a style of video. So if we're talking about styles of videos, then a talking head or vlogging style video would be one of them, and it's probably the most easily produced and the most popular type of overall video. And it does allow for a personal connection, a personality, a face, and a voice, and that can be good. But what if that's not what you're comfortable with? Or what if that doesn't align to your professional or business goals? Well, there are some alternatives. You can do the type of tutorial videos that I did, which are referred to as screencast and screen recordings. And what that means is showing your screen and your desktop or whatever application you're in instead of your face. And so you could go ahead and you could demonstrate a Photoshop tutorial or a video editing tutorial or a logo design or using a website interface. You could demonstrate whatever it is that you want, what's going on your computer screen, and you could show it to an audience while doing a voiceover track, walking them through your steps or demonstrating what you want. So that's one type. There's also what's referred to as an animated explainer video. And what this is this could be animations or text or slideshows that are going on in your video while you're talking over it, or it could just be that information, those graphics themselves being self-explanatory with maybe either sound effects or a music track and no voiceover behind it, or you could leverage the voiceover. So these type of videos are probably some of the most popular types of videos in terms of video marketing from a style standpoint. And they all have their benefits and advantages. If you're trying to be an established authority, I would say that the explainer videos and the talking head videos can be tremendously valuable. If you need to demonstrate your skills or expertise, or you need to do instruction and training, I would say that the video tutorials in the form of screencast are tremendously helpful and have an extraordinary value to them and will allow people to see your skills, see you do practical execution, but then also be in a position to execute themselves by following along, going back to it, pausing, rewinding, so on and so forth. So those are the type of videos that you could produce in terms of a style of video. We will talk about the types of videos in terms of content a little further in the webinar. And I'm just going to take a quick break here because I'm feeling a little parched. And that's the other thing about live streaming is you do have to account for that sort of thing. So we've talked about what type of videos you can make. Let's talk about whether you should make those videos yourself or whether you should outsource that to a professional. Now, there are a lot of components of your video marketing that you could end up outsourcing. You could outsource the video creation and production, which is the filming of the video. You could outsource the editing of the video, or you could outsource the actual marketing component in terms of the video marketing strategy, the promotion of the videos and getting it exposure, the YouTube SEO content, the building of the YouTube channel, the building of your overall platform for how you deliver this, whether you're building a website around it, your social media profiles, all of the actual marketing effort, that could be outsourced as well. So it could be the filming and production side, the editing side, or the actual video marketing. So let's look at all of these. Producing video content on your own is not that difficult as we talked about. It can be extraordinarily affordable, but you just may not feel comfortable to do that even with training and tutorials, and that's okay. If you feel the need to outsource that particular weakness and that you need to address video production and marketing, then you do need to work with somebody local to you in order to have that video production done. Consider looking into your local colleges and seeing if there are film students that might be willing to help you or your business with this video marketing effort. This is not an attempt to undermine video production professionals, but address the actual needs of people who have never done this before, feel some anxiety as businesses or as individuals or professionals that need this service, but are not knowledgeable enough and comfortable enough to invest a lot of upfront money into it. Consider working with students who are extraordinarily knowledgeable and could possibly help you. If you're determined to do it on your own, then take advantage of online training. I actually will probably be doing some online courses specifically geared around this, but I also have free tutorials and advice on my YouTube channel. I've done maybe about 60 to 70 videos specifically about DSLR video, cameras, and video editing, video production, what gear to buy, etc. So those resources are available for free, and I'm not the only one. There are other YouTube channels out there that can probably help you, such as No Film School and Film Riot. I will consider putting some of those resources and links to those channels in the PDF guide that you will get if you're a member of the email list, or if you go ahead and you come back to this video probably either early next week or at the end of this week. And that will be helpful to you in terms of a resource, because I have no problem with promoting other YouTube channels that I think provide valuable information and content for you guys in order to accomplish your goals and your needs, because I want to help you create the most awesome content you possibly can. And if I'm not able to do that on my own, I have no problem directing you to the right place to get that information. So I would say that if you're going to do it yourself, make sure you're approaching it in the best way possible and that you get as educated as you can, whether that requires you to pay for some training or leverage free resources online. If you want to outsource this to a professional or someone that you would feel comfortable to do it for you, then consider initially looking at students and independents. If you're going to hire a freelancer, make sure that you see their body of work and that they've done a considerable amount of video content that you feel comfortable with that meets your goals and your needs and style. If you are a company or you're a personal brand or professional, you may not want to hire someone locally that's only ever done music videos for performing artists. They may not have the temperament and the skills to match what your needs are, so you may need to hire someone else. Just because they're who's available doesn't mean that they're who's right for you and for your content. Now, with that in mind, if you can't find somebody at the entry level, then consider investing in a professional and don't haggle with them. The quality of their work is with whatever you're going to pay, as long as you've aligned it to a purposeful business and marketing goal that is going to have that upside for you. For example, if you are a company for whom the acquisition of a client would represent $2,000, $5,000, then there's no need to haggle with somebody about paying $500 to $1,000 to get a couple of videos done. If you're going to make it back by converting customers and you're going to have this content indefinitely to promote and market your business throughout the year, then it is an investment in the same way that you're investing in the materials that you would need in terms of laptops, hardware, software, and it's probably an even greater overall value for you beyond the execution of what you do to get your work done, in the sense that it's going to bring in the business that keeps the lights on at the end of the day. So whatever it costs you to get new customers is always worth the investment, as long as you are in a position to get new customers. So if you believe that video marketing is going to take your customer acquisition to the next level, and we know in an age where next year videos online will represent 80% of all online traffic, that video marketing is probably in your best interest regardless of what you're doing at this point. So I would say that it's worth the investment. And I'm not just saying that as somebody who produces video content. I may not be local to you, so there's no advantage in me trying to sell you on hiring a professional. Now, in terms of the editing and the marketing, there is an upside for me because I do provide those services to clients. But at the same time, We may never do business together, so I have no problem putting you in an educated position when it comes to hiring whoever you want to hire or doing it for yourself. So, with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about editing. If you decide that you want to outsource the editing of your video content, one of the most important things you're going to need to do is give whoever is doing the editing notes, especially if they were not there for the production of the content. If they were there for the production of the content, it might be easier to have them identify what content needs to be cut, trimmed, done differently, where you want certain things highlighted, what color grading you might want, etc. But if they were not present for the filming and production of the content, then you will absolutely need to provide them with guidance and notes about what you want the video content's final delivery to look like in terms of look, what things are cutted, what things are edited, what the volume needs to be, whether you want background music. You will need to give them as much information as possible and possibly even give them examples of what a finished, polished product for you looks like. The worst thing is when you leave these things to chance and you leave someone to guess. You're not only wasting their time, you're wasting your time, and you're not putting yourself in a position to get what you really want and what you really need in order to market yourself effectively. So I would highly encourage you to give as much information as you possibly can where that's concerned. If you're going to engage in the video editing yourself, then I would say that you definitely need to go ahead and make sure you have the right software, the right hardware for that, and that you really understand the video editing process. And I have a lot of video content that can help you with that here on my YouTube channel for free. I also provide information and resources through that through my community newsletter. And I know I keep bringing up the newsletter and encouraging you to sign up for that, but all I'm doing through that newsletter is creating upfront value and giving free information, free resources, free video content through there, sometimes exclusive video content, and helping you grow in executing on what you want. Because again, that is the mission of my video content in the long run, because I'm working toward a very specific goal with my video content. It is not just sales acquisition for me. For me, it is serving an ultimately higher purpose and higher calling that I have, and I'm completely fine with enabling you to execute in any way, shape, or form, even if I'm unable to monetize it. So that might sound altruistic, but if it is, then just take advantage and siphon as much of the free value as you possibly can, because other than that, there will be paid content coming forward that you will have to pay for. So I would say get it while it's good. But with that in mind, I will go on back to the video editing side and say that the software that I recommend in the long run is Adobe Premiere Pro. And some of you may feel that the investment in the subscription model of Adobe Creative Cloud doesn't fit with you as a business, and that you don't want another utility bill per se at $50 a month for all the software in the Adobe Creative Suite. But it is the software that I've used for the overwhelming majority of videos on this content and the execution of 500 plus videos over the last 2 years, which has led to 3 million views, tens of thousands of dollars in business, and tremendous relationships that I can't replace. And it's let me produce the best content that I possibly can. So I'm always going to recommend that you go that route, and it is an industry standard for a reason. Alternatively, if you want to own perpetual license software, you do have some alternatives. You have Avid, which is a bit more expensive in the overall as far as an upfront product. You do have Final Cut Pro, which is about $300. But then you also have mid-grade software in terms of Corel Video Editor, Sony Vegas Studio, you have Sony Movie Studio, and you also have Adobe Premiere Elements. If you're not going to go with Adobe Premiere Pro, I would recommend some of these other solutions. Adobe Premiere Elements would be the one that I'd be most comfortable to recommend, because I could give you advice on that. I may actually get the newest version of it, even though I don't need it, in order to do training and tutorials for people who have under $100 to spend on video editing software. So I might decide to create that upfront value for you and help you with your video editing. If you are going to use Adobe Premiere Pro, I have about a 20-minute tutorial on getting started that tens upon thousands of people have used to successfully figure out video editing for themselves, and they've benefited tremendously from that training, and it is completely free here on my YouTube channel. So if you're going to subscribe for no other reason, I would say that if you want to do video editing and video production and video marketing, that tutorial in itself has tremendous value for you. I also have other tutorials that will let you polish the look of your videos with color grading. I also talk a lot on this channel about marketing yourself in YouTube and reveal all of the secrets that helped me get over 50,000 subscribers and 3 million views over the last 2 years. I'm currently seeing a growth rate of 5,000 new subscribers per month in YouTube. That's actually quite abnormal. So if you want that content, it is available here on the channel. And I do provide some extra resources through my newsletter at robertoblake.com/newsletter. Now, in terms of the value of video editing and the cost you're going to pay for that, it's going to vary depending on who is doing your video editing, how long those videos are, and what your editing notes are. So this is also why it's important to be very clear. Some video editors also charge by the hour in addition to service fees. So putting them in a position to execute in a frictionless way and to be able to keep the editing time down to a minimum when working on your projects is essential. I would also recommend having them do batch editing and edit more than one video at a time, because even though that's going to create a large bulk cost for you, it's going to be cheaper in the long run because of the shortcuts they'll be able to use while staying in the application. So applying one system of color grading to a bunch of videos that were shot in the same lighting under the same conditions is going to be important. Doing the batch audio processing, all of those things are going to make the cost cheaper if you pay for more videos to be edited up front in the long run. So that's part of what I would say about the outsourcing of the video editing for your content. Again, if you want to do it yourself, get the training and make sure you're comfortable with the final product that you're able to produce on your own. If you feel it's taking too much time away from your business, then you should definitely pay to outsource this, because you're essentially buying back your time, because your time to spend 10 hours making a video that may or may not drive more sales or business to you is taking away from the time of you being able to run and operate your business and possibly make the thousands of dollars there. So cheaping out on hundreds of dollars of someone editing to do it yourself versus you taking your CEO time to make thousands of dollars is not a bargain for you. So that's what I would say about the video editing process and trying to determine whether or not you should do it yourself versus outsourcing and hiring a professional. With that in mind, let's go to video marketing and whether you should do that yourself or outsource it. And it's time for another water break. If you intend to do live streams for an hour and webinars, this is something you're going to have to get used to, is working in your water breaks and just being comfortable to do things like that in front of a camera. 500 videos in, I would say I'm very comfortable to do that. So moving right along, the video marketing component of this and whether you should outsource that or not. Video marketing is very intense. If you don't have a background in online marketing, inbound marketing, understanding video SEO and the things that go along with that, the interfaces that you want to market in terms of YouTube, the YouTube analytics side, and also some of the live streaming platforms, it can be very intense and there can be a very high learning curve, and you could end up producing tremendous content that never gets you the exposure you want. So unless you want to do a lot of upfront training and investment and possibly spend years upon years in video platforms, never really growing your audience or converting them to meaningful sales or converting them to growing your email list and your lead generation, then you're taking a risk with your time. Instead, it might be more reasonable for you to outsource and to hire someone, one, either to at least initially set up your video marketing strategy so that you have a bullet point action list that you can execute on. That type of consultation probably won't be inexpensive, but it might be more reasonable than you think. If you're watching this webinar and you contact and reach out to me via email and you use "create awesome video marketing" as the subject line, I will provide you a special deal. If you are an individual or a business and you want 2 hours of a breakdown of video marketing consulting, I will provide that for you at a special discount that we will discuss via email. But I'm going to tell you right now, my typical rate for that type of consultation is fairly expensive overall for the average person. But if you're someone who came from this webinar, whether you're watching it live right now, or whether you're watching it on my channel in the replay, go ahead and email me with that subject line, and I will give you a special discount of 2 hours of consulting, which would usually be at a much overall higher value. And I will give you 2 hours of consulting, and that will be a recorded Skype call that you will have to be able to have that information, not have to worry about taking notes. And I will give that to you for a special value of $300 for a 2 hour consulting session on aligning your video marketing goals to your business or to growing your career or building out your YouTube channel. I will give you 2 hours for a special discounted rate of $300, which is not the typical rate for my video marketing consulting. And that is a special deal only for people watching this webinar who email me with the subject line, "Create awesome video marketing." So that offer is on the table. Other people will charge different rates for different types of consulting. There are YouTube consultants and video marketing consultants that just for an initial consultation will charge as much as $250. And I will tell you this, it is worth every single penny. It is worth every single penny. If they are charging you $250, if they're charging you $500, and they are proven video marketing professional and have executed on this across hundreds of videos and millions of views, then whatever they're asking for is worth it as long as you have a business model that will benefit from video marketing, meaning that if you want to acquire clients that are going to pay you more than 200, more than 500 for your services, or that a relationship with them in the long term is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, then the ability to get this information and this advice is going to give you a return on investment within the first sale that you make, the first new client acquisition that you make, or if it's going to help you get into a job that's going to pay you $50, $60, $100,000 a year, then a $500, $1,000 investment in some consulting and some advice or some marketing execution is worth what you're paying. So I need you to not consider it a cost, but to think of it as an investment. The same way that if you were going to do a job with a laptop that you were going to buy, maybe it's a MacBook Pro, you're investing about maybe $2,000 in this laptop to do a job that is going to pay you $5,000 a month. That's what's called an investment or the cost of doing business. So you need to look at it from that perspective. That being said, if you're going to take the time to learn this on your own, even if you do extensive training, even if I provide you with a course that you were going to buy outright to do it instead of paying for consulting, and you were going to pay maybe $500 for 5 hours of course, the reality is that you would have to revisit that information over and over again, and then you still have to do the execution of it. So it might be 20, 30, 50, or 100 hours or more of your time in learning alone, let alone execution. You could leave 200 hours of your time on the table. If you value your time at even $50 an hour, then your cost of learning it yourself is $10,000 versus whatever you would pay for someone else who's already done that training to execute on it. So you need to evaluate what is more valuable to you, upfront money and cost, recurring cost, or your time. And for most of us, the thing that we value the most is our time, and our time has disproportionate value compared to whatever we spend on products and services. So I would suggest that you take that into consideration, whether you're hiring myself as a consultant, whether you're hiring anybody else, Daryl Eves, Tim Schmoyer, Amy Schmittauer. These are all great video marketing experts. And if you want to work with them, I would highly encourage you to work with them. I have no problem plugging them here in my own webinar and leading you away to hire the professional that you feel most suits your personality and is most comfortable with. I'm completely comfortable leaving that value on the table. It is not going to hurt me. So I would say find an expert that you feel comfortable with, that you trust the results of, and that you trust their information and their expertise, and pay whatever they're asking in order to get the results that you think will best allow your business and your brand to scale and to get disproportionate value in terms of taking a small investment and turning it into thousands of dollars in new customers, new clients, and new leads. So we've covered whether you should outsource your video production, your video editing, or your video marketing. Now we're going to move on to our next topic: live videos versus pre-recorded and edited videos. Live videos like this have tremendous value in the fact that they're completely authentic, they're unedited, they cost a lot less to produce because you can just do them yourselves very easily, and you have a lot of different platforms and formats and ways that you can do that. For these type of long format videos, I prefer Google Hangouts on Air above all else. And again, relatively, they're easy to use and they can be repurposed. The downside is that anything can happen during a live video. And that could negatively impact your reputation or your credibility. The internet could go out, the camera could break, the computer could break or have a problem, the website can crash. Any of those things could happen, and that could affect your credibility or keep you from the opportunity that you're looking for. So you take a risk on some level with live streaming. I would counter with saying that you should balance live streaming with edited prepackaged videos that have the exact type of output and delivery and look and sound that you want and align to your goals. And I would say that you combine that with the occasional live videos in order to be authentic, genuine, save time on the producing of long format content or short form content, or take advantage of tentpole events and things that are happening in your industry. So I'd say there's a value to live and there's a value to pre-recorded. There's no one that is better than the other. And I would say that you have to balance that and figure out what best makes sense for the type of content you want to do and what the situation in that particular moment is. And I would recommend, rather than going either or, that you do both. So let's talk about measuring the ROI of video. A popular saying that's going around the internet that I actually do like on some level is, if it doesn't make dollars, then it doesn't make sense. So if you're doing video marketing, you have to have a very strategic goal for how this creates value for you and what you're measuring as a success. Subscriber counts are not a measurement of the success of video marketing. I would even argue that view counts are not a measure of the success of video marketing. People are concerned with getting 1,000 views, 10,000 views, 1,000,000 views on a video, or subscriber numbers. They're worried about getting 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 subscribers. All of those numbers are irrelevant. The number that matters is the follow through. The number that matters is the one person that converts to a new customer or picks up the phone and calls you, or the one person that emails you, the one person that you were able to connect with and reach with your content to get the action that you want. It's the number of people that go from your video and join your email list or newsletter. It's the number of people who go from your video and go to your online store and buy your product. It's the number of people that convert to a lead and come through either email or a phone call or walk into your store and decide that they want to do business with you instead of anybody else. And that is the only number that truly matters in terms of video marketing. So that's what you really need to measure. Now, from a practical execution standpoint, to figure out whether your video marketing is working because maybe you don't necessarily have those particular goals, you absolutely should be looking at your analytics. And that's why I prefer YouTube as a platform for a lot of what I do, because I do get those analytics. I get to see the ages and locations and demographical data of who my audience is and what impact it has. I get to see how long people are watching, what content they value, and it gives me all of that data. But at the end of the day, if I can't turn those numbers into something meaningful, whether that's growing my AdSense revenue on the advertising, or growing my affiliate marketing sales, or the sales of my own products when I have those, or the referral business to my primary service that I'm providing, then it doesn't make sense to pursue that particular content. And so then you have to move on and do something differently or do something else. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So instead of worrying about your subscriber counts or your views or anything like that, what you need to be worried about is what the impact of your videos are. And again, if you're not aligning it to money, because sometimes that's not the issue, sometimes you want brand awareness, then you measure it very differently. And if your issue is brand awareness, then you do want to worry about the subscriber count and you do want to worry about the views, but more importantly, you want to worry about the watch time, because the watch time is going to tell you how engaged your audience is, and you want to see what the drop off is and whether they're getting disengaged or turned off by a certain thing that you may or may not be doing or saying. So that's how you will measure the ROI. You will measure the return on investment on what you got, either in terms of sales or email leads or whatever the ROI value is to you and your business or your career, your personal profession. For you, if you are an individual, it might be that you want the notoriety, and so you want the potential to get the attention of people in your industry. So you might need to look at the view count and you might look at the subscribers. But if you're doing it for businesses or you're doing it to promote your own services or your own products, then what you're going to look at is the monetary ROI there. So that's what I would say about that. And I would say that some tools that you can use to help you measure ROI, in addition to just using your YouTube analytics for that platform, is within Periscope, you use the number of followers and the hearts in general for YouTube videos, because as the best overall video marketing platform, in my opinion, you would use additional tools like vidIQ, Tubular Labs, and Social Blade to get some very granular data. You can get some data in terms of future projections. You can see how many people are following you and also how many subscribers they might have. You can get a list of the most influential followers you have. Maybe you want to double down and build relationships with them. There's a lot of data to be had. It's just a matter of tying that to your goals and to what your intentions are. So I would say you have to be aware of your goals, aware of your intentions, and what you're looking for in terms of a return in order to measure it appropriately, and whether it's a success or whether it's a win. Also, I would say in terms of looking at your subscriber numbers and your view counts, understand this. Here's a number that most people are unaware of: 60%. 60% of videos in YouTube never get, in their entire lifetime as a video, 500 views. So if you ever have a video that gets 500 views and you're upset that you didn't get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 500 is a win, because you're crushing over 60% of the videos that exist currently in YouTube. And more videos exist in YouTube and are uploaded every month than the entire amount of video content produced by the entire human race before the 10 years prior to YouTube's existence. So just keep that in mind. So we've talked about measuring the ROI of your video marketing and your videos. Let's talk about how to make your first 10 videos. And we're getting close to the end here. I'm not terrible on terms of time, but I'm probably going to run over by 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm not going to take it out of your Q&A time. I'm actually just going to keep going here. So let's talk about making your first 10 videos. In terms of video marketing, what I've found to be very effective is that for your first 10 videos, you should make a couple of different videos. One video you should definitely make, especially if you're doing YouTube, is a YouTube channel trailer that's under 2 minutes that explains what your content is about and what your channel is about. So you should definitely do that video. You should also do an unlisted video that is a thank you video that ties to whatever your call to action is. So if you want people to get a special thank you video once they've subscribed for your email list, then you should do that video and make it unlisted, and then embed that in the thank you email that goes out to everyone. And you should also consider doing a welcome video for any of your email list subscribers for that. If you have a product and service and they get an email once they've purchased it, again, you should probably do a special thank you video tied to that. But aside from those specific circumstances, if you want to build influence, whether you're a company or an individual, I recommend looking at the top 10 questions that are your most frequently asked questions, that are the pain points of whoever your clients or customers are, and that you address those 10 topics as individual videos. I would also say that you consider the way that those videos are phrased and look at other ways that they might be phrased and do similar content as future videos. And then you also request that if people have questions, they reach out to you, and then you can make videos based on that content. So that will help you your first 10 to 20 videos in terms of what ideas, what am I possibly going to talk about on video? It is not that difficult to come up with video content. It's probably the most frequently asked question I get, which is why I'm addressing it in this webinar, but I'll probably do a dedicated video about that, that your first 10 videos should probably be your most frequently asked questions in your business, your industry, that your customers ask. So if you're a real estate agent, think about the top 10 things someone needs to know before moving and do an individual video about all of those things. And then maybe also do a 5 tips video or a 7 tips video. Those list style videos are very popular. So think about doing that. If you are a visual artist, graphic designer, web designer, think about the things that your clients would need to know before they hire you, or the things that they should expect in working for you, and make videos around that. Make videos around the questions that they need to ask, and think about it. It could be everything from pricing to how to find someone to how to hire someone. Just think about what those things might be and address those pain points. The same thing if you're any other type of service professional, this strategy will work for you. If you're selling a product, then what you need to consider is what's the value or what's the problem that your product is solving, and then reverse engineer that into questions that you can answer that lead to your product being the solution. And don't do it in a gimmicky way, and just make sure you're demonstrating the value of the product. Do not go through features and benefits. Demonstrate the upfront value. Show, do not tell. Show, do not tell. I cannot stress that enough in terms of product marketing. You do not want to be from the 90s cartoon, The Critic with Jay Sherman, and go, buy my book, buy my book. Everyone hated that. Like, that's a like thing. And you see how annoying that is? Do not be that guy or gal. Be upfront, be genuine, create the value, and demonstrate it. And again, show, don't tell. Focus on good storytelling, and the value of what you have to offer is the value of what you have to offer. So just make sure that you're doing something that at the end of the day, you absolutely believe in, because if you don't, it's going to translate and show on your face and show in the video, and it's going to be a problem for you. So let's move on to some video marketing strategies and tips for exposure. We've talked about the fact that YouTube is the singular largest video search engine in the world and is the second largest overall search engine in the world behind its parent company, Google. Leveraging that effectively for exposure is essential, and I'm going to reveal some little known secrets about video SEO in general, but very specifically for YouTube. So while this part is not so much a secret, people forget it all the time to focus on attention of your title, your description, and your tags in a video. They absolutely matter, and they are the most important SEO features you should feature and focus on besides your thumbnail. And the reason is because 60% of YouTube video traffic is related to those three areas in terms of how a video appears in search rankings and also in related videos on the sidebar. I know that because I have videos that are on the first page of YouTube and Google that are ahead of people doing the same type of content that have 100,000 subscribers or even up to 1 million views. I have videos that are ranked on the same page or ranked higher on the same page than those. If you don't believe me, you can go into YouTube right now and you can Google graphic design, and you will see probably no less than 3 thumbnails with my face that show up for my videos, if not more. And you will see that for graphic design. And there have been people who have been in YouTube far longer than me and have more subscribers and more videos about that content and more views, individual views, hundreds of thousands of views on some of their videos, and I will still be ranked above them in YouTube search, and it's because of using the tactics that I'm going to talk about right now. So I would highly encourage you to pay attention to this part of the webinar, and if you've tuned out before now, this is the gold, this is the meat, and you've missed out. So for those of you who are still here or watching the replay, this is the golden ticket. This is to the chocolate factory. This is the Willy Wonka. And what it is when you are doing a YouTube title, you need to specifically think about what someone would have to search for in order to get that video. And that's what the title should be. This should also be in the very first line of the YouTube description. And you should also copy and paste this directly as one of the first tags for your video. And what this is going to do is when someone does type in those phrases, and it shouldn't be just a 2-word video description, it should be a how to and then whatever, or 5 tips for, or 5 ways to, or 5 strategies, or 5 things to know, and things like that. And 5 is just a number I'm throwing out. It could be 3, it could be 7, it could be 10. These things work. Or it can be how to, or why you should, or why you don't, or do's and don'ts. It is all of these things. And if you've ever done written marketing, if you've ever done content marketing, if you've ever done SEO, then you know that this works, and this is how people rank in Google. And YouTube is based off of what parent company, what search engine? Google. You need to reverse engineer what is effective for blogging into YouTube. Your descriptions are something you cannot be lazy on. You need to have 150 to 300 words in your description. You need to have resource links in your description. You need to have links to other YouTube videos or video playlists in your description, because YouTube is going to promote videos that lead to the viewing of other videos. So you need to have titles, descriptions, and tags that facilitate that. You need to have tags that will influence the videos that show up in the right-hand side when people are watching that video, but also tell people who have a different video out that's similar content that your video is related, and it uses the tags for that as well as the title, and it looks to whether a video has the same words, the same keywords, the same phrasing in the title, the description, and the tags. And that's so very important. The other thing is to pay attention to the annotations in YouTube and leverage the YouTube info cards. When people click on YouTube info cards and go to another video or another playlist, it's increasing the watch time and the session time in YouTube. That makes that video more important to YouTube, because YouTube knows that that video is a gateway to other videos, so it's going to rank it higher and it's going to make it authoritative. The other thing to consider is the watch time in YouTube. Watch time for every individual video, watch time for your playlist of videos, and watch time for your overall channel creates the authority for your videos, your playlist, your search results, and your channel recommendations. And again, these are the features that account for 60 to 70% of the views in YouTube. That is a huge number. Remember, 60 to 70% of the views in YouTube have nothing to do with social media and how many places it's been shared. It is down to the video SEO and the watch time and the authority that you build through that, and whether or not your videos are translating to the viewing of other videos and longer sessions in YouTube overall. This is the technical algorithm and the secret sauce that most people don't know about that is keeping them from getting the exposure for their videos and the views that they want and the ranking that they want in YouTube and Google search. The other thing I would say is don't focus on subscribers and views. One of the most important calls to action for your videos, especially in YouTube, is going to be sharing the videos. The more video times a video is shared, and that is going to increase the watch time. And that's what the disproportionate value of the authority is going to be for your videos. So that's where your focus needs to be, not just on subscribers, not just on views, but primarily on how many people are sharing it, how much exposure it's getting, how much reach it's getting, and that's important. So now you know a video SEO strategy guideline, and I will put more material based on this in things that will come out through the email newsletter in the coming days and weeks. So make sure you're subscribed at robertoblake.com/newsletter, or you will be missing out on some of those free resources, a written breakdown of this, and also some resource links that will help you. I might even do an Excel document that actually will help you with filling in the blanks on some of this stuff. I haven't decided when I'm going to make that available, but it will be a free download, and only people who are subscribed through the email list are probably going to end up getting that. So let's go into some things on the overall content strategy real quick before we go into Q&A. So in terms of content strategy, people worry about how many videos to produce and to put out. If you're a company or you're an individual, I would say that weekly content is a good place to start. And that might seem ambitious and that might seem hard for you, but there is an actual easy trick to this. What I would say is before you release a single video is to shoot your first 10 videos and edit them and have them ready to go beforehand and then release them on a schedule. I would say start by releasing your first 4 videos one day behind the other, so that there is enough content for new people finding you to see that there's more than one video here, and they don't have to feel like they have to wait to get more value from you, and they see that you're going to be consistent. After you get those first 4 or 5 videos out, go ahead and release on the same day every week. Pick a day and release 1 video a week on that day. Because you have 10 videos already shot and edited, this means that you will have your first month of content in your pipeline. And that means that editing and producing more videos and getting them out will not be difficult for you. Plan a list of the content you're going to release in advance as far as possible. We said start with the first 10 pain points and questions of your clients, plus do some thank you videos, plus do some videos that directly lead to your call to actions, and also an introductory video. So do that. Possibly do some explainer videos talking about concepts or terms that people need to understand before they get into your market. So look at doing those things from a content standpoint and plan that all out. If you plan to do content for a week throughout the entire year, then go ahead and make a bullet list of 50 to 60 different topics that you can cover. Take a week to do this if that's what it's going to take. It probably will only really take you an hour if you sit down, you really think about what questions you get the most and that you're prepared to answer. You could also reach out to people in social media and ask questions and ask them to give you their questions about your industry. There are a lot of people who probably will want to know things, and that puts you in a very good position to answer them with a video. So you could always do that. And that's a strategy that I've used. I have probably 300 topics written down for every type of video that I'm going to do through my 7-day-a-week schedule. So I have an inventory of what my next 2,000 videos might be already. Plus, I get new requests every single day from my community of 50,000 subscribers. So I'm not really worried about running out of content ideas anytime soon. So I would say that making a plan for your video content is not your biggest hurdle or your biggest challenge, but is something that you should really start with. Other than that, you should plan for the execution of producing a pipeline of videos that you have in advance that you can release so that you don't feel anxiety about not being able to deliver a video on a given week. And so you can cover yourself for holidays and events or getting sick or anything like that. So do that for your video content strategy. I do a very aggressive content strategy now, but it's because I binge shoot. I will shoot sometimes 3 or 5 days in a row of 10 videos at a time and then edit 2 or 3 videos a day potentially. And this means that I'm only spending an hour to 2 hours out of a 12-hour day on video marketing alone. But as a solopreneur, I spend a lot of time in marketing because that's what creates the pipeline of the volume of customers and puts me in a position to actually take the customers that I want and turn down the customers that aren't a good fit for me. So look at the investment of your time from that point of view in terms of getting either a higher volume of customers or possibly a higher tier of customers that are better suited to you. So I would say that that's how the content strategy and the time investment works. If you really want to grow more quickly, increasing the volume of content can help. But I don't recommend that most people try to do more than 2 to 3 videos a week in terms of a release, and that they give themselves more than enough of a content buffer in terms of how much content they know they're going to do, what their topics are, and what they feel they have the stamina and energy to keep up with, both from a production and editing and a marketing standpoint. A lot of people worry about what the best day and time for release of videos is. There is no secret to that. The reality is that most of the videos, like we said, are found through search and through recommendations and shares. And that happens all day, every day, in every time zone, in every country in the world that has access to internet 24/7. So the time of day and day of week that you release is irrelevant. Now, the exception for that is tentpole events and holidays and things like that. And that can go either way because not everyone necessarily celebrates those things or acknowledges those events. So again, there is an opportunity one way or the other. It can go either way on that. So I would say don't get bogged down by the nitty gritty of those details. Quality content is going to be viewed and searched and discovered and consumed regardless of when it is. I have videos that I released 2 years ago that are still getting thousands upon thousands of views today. I have a video that I released a year ago that still gets the 10,000 views a month or so now. So it doesn't matter when you release the content, as long as it's quality and it's valuable, it's always usable. You can always retweet it, reshare it in Facebook, Google Plus, and repurpose it. The other thing I would say is think about your distribution strategy. Distribution strategy is an important tactic to focus on in video marketing. You have to think about the context of where the platform is. It's okay to share the same content in multiple platforms, but do it within the context of that platform. Consider sharing not only an embedded YouTube video in Facebook, but at some point, maybe a week or two later after the initial release, embedding that as a native Facebook video to get the traction and reach there, and to reiterate that and remind people that you have YouTube content and to reach them directly that way, because Facebook will promote that video more if you upload it to its platform instead of linking out to YouTube. If you want to get some interest from people in Pinterest, which would be great from a product marketing standpoint, then you can use the little share button for Pinterest in YouTube and share the thumbnail of the video, and they'll be able to click through and play the video in YouTube through that. And you can also go back and write a description and even use discovery hashtags. So there's a lot of opportunity based on the context of that platform to scale there. If you have a very industry savvy piece of content in terms of video, or it's related to business or to marketing, do not hesitate to make a LinkedIn native post through a publisher and embed a video there to make it more sticky and get more traction in that way. So I would say think about the context of each platform for distribution that you're going to use, what the target audience is there, what they look for, and then try and take advantage of that as much as possible. So that is it for this 1 hour and change free webinar on video marketing and getting started with video marketing. So now we're going to transition to the live Q&A session. I'm going to do 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A with you, and then we're going to cut the video there. This video will be available indefinitely as long as I want to have it up on my YouTube channel. So I encourage you to take advantage of it. It is a free video. It will be monetized with ads, and there will be a point where I might make this video available ad-free, either as a paid download or as a video in Udemy or Skillshare. So if you don't want to view it with ads, it might be available in those platforms if enough people request that, and I might take that opportunity. If I do make it a download, it will be a paid download, because other than that, it is free here in YouTube with ads. So that's the way that I'm monetizing this free content, and that's something you should think about and something I will probably cover in another webinar, the business of YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to the email list to get updates on future webinars and other content and free resources that I want to send out, and also the products that I'm going to be releasing to help you create awesome things and share them with the world. So without further ado, we're going to move to the live Q&A session. There is probably a delay on this video, so go ahead and send your questions into the chat, and I'll try and answer as many of them as possible as we go forward. If I don't get to your questions, feel free to reach out to me either through the newsletter or through Twitter at Roberto Blake, or through my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/RobertoBlake2, and I'll try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. So I'm going to see if we have any questions in the live chat event, and we're going to see what we can do about those. So I'm going to be reading some of your questions. I'm going to take a little break here for water, and we're going to go from there. Also, remember, there is a link in the description to purchase any of the hardware and software resources that I use for my YouTube channel here. So that is available to you. And that is something that you can get completely free. It is a link on my blog, and that is in the description. And I'm just going to try and answer as many of your questions as you can. And remember that with the email list, I am going to be sending out some PDFs and some guides and templates that will also help you with your video marketing. So I've seen a lot of compliments here in the chat, so thank you for that. I'm gonna put my glasses on to make this just a little easier on myself. I apologize for anyone who's bothered by the glare, but I can't see, so there is that. Let's see. So someone in the chat asked if I can save their name in the video, please. This is a educational instructional video. It is not for leveraging your own channel. And something that I do want to call out and say is that in general, etiquette for videos is creating value. So asking someone for shout outs that you have no relationship with, no business relationship, no personal relationship is a faux pas. It does present as immature. Sometimes it can present even as desperate. So I would say that that is a no-no and something that you should avoid. And I understand that there might be younger people in the audience, but you do need to understand that and respect it. So I'm going to probably do a video at some point on video etiquette and online etiquette so that people understand that, because I know there are a lot of people in YouTube and video marketing that are younger that don't understand some of the nuances that some of us who are older or professionals do. So while not calling anyone out, I want to be respectful of that, but I also do want to take this time to address it because it is a very important issue. And people need to understand that you wouldn't go up to a stranger and just ask them for a favor or ask them to vouch for you, and that there's no upside for anybody really in that, and that it's actually somewhat embarrassing to do so, and that you need to avoid doing that whenever possible. So young people, if you're in the audience, do not ask people who you don't have a relationship with to shout you out or to promote you in their content. That is not the right thing to do. You get attention and you get the ability to get shout outs and plugs and promotions by building relationships, building a strong network, and by creating value up front first, and by, again, building a connection with people and also having value. People who watch this content are trying to grow themselves creatively, accomplish their goals, create cool things, put them out there, or grow their business or sell their products. They're not probably interested in watching gaming videos. So that's just something I want to put out there. If you are a creative professional, Bart Van Horn asks a question. So if you're a creative professional and you want to market your services, there are a lot of websites you can use. If you want to use video marketing, I would say that drawing or painting live in Twitch could be good for you. The same thing with Periscope. If you have a tripod for your camera that you can use to point at your sketchbook or your painting canvas. And if you want to do digital art, that you can do what's called speed art videos to showcase to a client or a customer for commissions that you can do this type of artwork. That's very popular. There are a lot of people doing that. So I'd say that YouTube could be good for that, but that in general, you need a website portfolio. And so I hope that answers your question. Let's see. We have some other questions here. Mostly we have a lot of compliments here on the overall live stream and on the notes. So definitely thank you to all of you for that. I'm seeing an overall lack of questions, though, compared to the compliments. So that is something. And I do see some people also trying to self-promote here in the Q&A comments. And I want to, again, reiterate that that is the wrong thing to do. For those of you who are interested in creative services, there are other webinars and tutorials that I offer for that. So I would say definitely make sure you're subscribed and checking out those things. And those videos will help you. This one is more specific to the context of video marketing, although I do have a video that explains video marketing for creative professionals. And I do think that this webinar does apply to you if you want to scale in that particular way and get new clients or opportunities or even a job. So I would say that that is a good way to figure out how you can leverage video marketing to get a new job or grow in your career, or if you're in creative services to get new clients, because that's something that has worked successfully for me here in YouTube. So Martin asked, do you get money according to views? While this is not a video about YouTube monetization, it could be a part of your overall video marketing strategy to leverage your video content in a monetizable way. That is something that I take advantage of. It is in proportion to your views a little bit, but ultimately is proportionate to your views that have advertising associated with them. So there's no exact formula for correlation between how much money you make in proportion to how many videos you make. A lot of people look at larger YouTubers like Michelle Phan or Tyler Oakley or PewDiePie and look at some of the YouTube millionaires, but there is a stigma in the industry that I want to address in the fact that just because you're on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean you'll make money from YouTube. But if you're in business and if you're in video marketing, you can use YouTube to make money. So you can make money with YouTube videos rather than from YouTube videos. I talked about the fact that one video I made led to $5,000 in new client business alone by itself. So that would be a primary example. Another video I made is actually bringing a client to me that has an overall branding project that's a few $1,000s. So even one client with one video could have the upside of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on what your services are that you're offering. So again, I see a lot of discussion, and there's a lot going on here. And no, I'm not reading from a teleprompter. Ray asked if I'm taking questions from the chat or reading from a teleprompter. I don't use a teleprompter because, again, without my glasses, I can't see very far in terms of written words. I can see colors and I can see shapes. I'm not totally blind or anything, but I couldn't read from a teleprompter if I wanted to. And even with glasses, I don't think it would work for me just because I have a problem with the motion tracking side of that for something as granular as text. So I can't actually use a teleprompter. So let's see. Let's see if we have any more questions here. We have a lot of discussion going on. I talked about the fact someone asked how long I've been doing YouTube. I've been doing YouTube consistently for over 2 years. My account's 6 years old. Most people use their accounts to do comments. A while back, I was doing some videos, but not a lot. So, and those were sporadic, but I only started doing consistent, frequent content for the past 2 years. So, Windbro the Gamer asked that he would like to buy a microphone for YouTube, but only wants to spend about $50. What microphone would I recommend? I do have all of my recommendations for that in the resource link that I talk about in the description below. I use the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 for doing live streams like this. It's $40. I also use it back here for when I'm doing my podcast or when I'm doing my screen tutorials. That's what I utilize. If you want a lapel microphone, for that I use a Sony lapel mic. Which is around here somewhere. But I use a Sony lapel microphone that's about $20. Again, these things are in my resource list, so you could take advantage of them, and I have things for every budget. You could even get a lapel microphone for $6. These would plug directly into like a DSLR camera, but if you're doing something where you're recording and you're using a laptop for your system, then I would recommend a USB microphone like the Audio-Technica ATR 2100. So that's what I would recommend. Neo Chantel asks that she'd like to know the average monetized playbacks to view ratio just starting out because she wants to subscribe monetized playbacks. There's not an exact formula for that. It is different for every YouTube channel, and most people will tell you that. Again, this is not a video about YouTube monetization. It's specifically more about video marketing and growing your brand. But I know that because it is YouTube, we're getting a lot of questions about that. So I'm trying to answer that and be respectful of it. But that's what I would say is it's different for every channel. You're not going to get a fixed formula for that. If you see one for that, it may not apply to you, especially if you're just starting out. Someone asked about multi-channel networks. Multi-channel networks take a portion of your profits, but the overwhelming majority of them, if you talk to YouTubers who are in them, they don't necessarily do a lot to grow your channel. So if you're looking to grow your channel, it's not going to help you a lot. They do sometimes get you premium ads, but you could also get that on your own if you grow your channel. So I would say exercise patience, and that if you're looking for a multi-channel network to help grow your channel and help you get collaborations, it's probably not going to work out. So I was asked again about the webcam that I use for live streaming, and I use the Logitech C920. Again, if you have questions about the resources I'm using for my YouTube setup and equipment, that is in the description, but I'm also going to put it here in the chat. And I'm probably going to go ahead and close out the Q&A session here in the next 2 to 5 minutes because we're not getting as many questions. And most of it is related to things that I've already answered. Someone wants to know how you get your videos from the news feed into a browser. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking with this question or what you're referring to, because it almost sounds like it's related to Facebook, but the way that it's phrased, I don't really understand the question. So what I would say is that people ultimately click on videos that are in their news feed that are related to what they're looking for, what they want. So I think that that might relate to what your question is. So someone says that they've shared their video on Facebook, but they don't have any subscribers. The reality is that getting subscribers takes time. And I already explained that subscribers are not necessarily the most important thing, that ultimately views and reach and watch time and conversions are. So I would say that that is really the important thing. So we're getting ready to close out here. I'm going to answer 2 or 3 more questions, and that's it. In terms of the cost of any of the hardware, again, those things are in the link that I sent out, so reference that. Pause for Design. Alyssa Force from Pause for Design asks, I have a very unique subject that is difficult to figure out on how someone would search for it. Do you have any suggestions on how I would title my niche design videos? So if your videos are on niche design, it's a matter of whether you're targeting graphic designers or whether you're targeting clients. If you're targeting graphic designers and trying to explain graphic design to them as far as choosing a niche, then I would say that you might want to title your videos like how to choose your graphic design niche, or should you choose a niche as a graphic designer, or should you be a graphic design specialist or generalist? I would say that titles like that will probably be more beneficial to you in terms of YouTube search, Alyssa. So great question. Senma asks, is it worth it to advertise your YouTube videos or Twitter as a paid ad view? This is a tremendous question. In terms of paying for content in terms of promoting your videos? I would say it depends whether you're going Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. I would say it depends. I would say that if you have a $2,000 product, or if you had clients where the relationship's going to be worth like $2,000, $3,000, that spending $500 in advertising is well worth it, because you're going to get it back in just one client and you have the ability to advertise to a large audience. I would say that if you have even a $500 product or service, that it might be worth doing $200 to $500 in advertising in either platform for your video content, because again, if you get a sale from it or a client and it's worth that much, then you break even or you go to profitable based on just one conversion. So I would say that that's absolutely worth it. To answer someone's question about partnerships, again, I don't recommend them personally. I just don't recommend them because I don't believe that in the main, like 90% of them do not grow your channel. And if that's what you're looking for, and the majority of you want subscribers and you want views, partnering with a multi-channel network is not going to accomplish that for you. So it looks like that's it for, well, there's one more question from Geekdom 101 that I definitely want to answer. And it's, are titling your videos as questions normally better than marketing and searching? I would say that's not an either or. I would say that sometimes titling your videos as questions could be extremely helpful, especially if the goal is to prompt a conversation that then allows you to, go deeper or to establish some type of authority. So I would say that that is probably the right answer. So I would say that mixing that into your content is probably a good idea. So it looks like that is it for the overwhelming majority of the questions. I want to thank everybody for tuning in live. I want to thank all of you who are watching the replay. And I want to say that there will be another webinar. It will not be a YouTube or video marketing related webinar. I have not decided on the topic just yet, but it will probably be related either to social media or it will be related to technology. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. I want to thank again, once everybody for tuning in and for any of the tremendous questions. Again, remember that you have the opportunity to ask questions through the comment section. I try to reply to everybody. I also take questions in Twitter at Roberto Blake. So I would definitely encourage you to subscribe, to follow me over in Twitter. And again, there will be resources that I'm giving away free through the email list. So if you have some things that you would like in terms of resources, PDFs, templates, links to free downloads, things like that, then I will be providing those through the email list. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into the comment section so that you can go ahead and join the newsletter. And it's robertoblake.com/newsletter. And you'll be able to get those resources. And you'll also know when I'm doing these free monthly webinars and other special things. So again, big thank you to everybody. And I want to encourage you to take on video marketing for yourself. Use it to grow your career, grow your business, spread your message, and accomplish your goals. And remember that all of us have to start at zero and grow. So don't focus so much on your subscribers or your view counts. Focus on delivering what you feel is quality content and content that you feel comfortable to put your name to and to own. And remember, create something awesome today.